kinds of colors to the paper and utilizes the wire. So it's absolutely incredible. And I just had to honor her by wearing it today because it's my birthday. So this video is going up May 1st, and she made it kind of like in the idea of a May Queen, I guess, because May 1st is May Queen Day kind of thing, right? So it's kind of a goddess day, feminine, divine feminine day. I'm going to read you what she wrote me because it is she is such a beautiful person. Listen to this. Happy birthday, Mama. Here is a goddess crown for you to wear while you enjoy all the earthly delights. I love you to the moon and back, Raven. Yeah, I'm a lucky mama. So I'm going to honor her. I got really inspired after I received the crown. I got really inspired and changed my whole room around. And I'm using the purple room for my office now. So the purple room, and I thought it could show off the crown. So this is my new office, so I hope you like it. Hope Guy likes it, because he's going to have to deal with editing this. Hi, Guy. Awesome. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm getting so many beautiful happy birthday messages. And after this video goes up, I'll be leaving, on our little road trip. So I am just so thankful for everybody and this journey we're all on together, this discovery of truth journey, I'm going to call it. And yeah, today I'm feeling so thankful for my beautiful children, in particular my daughter Raven, who spent hours probably making this beautiful piece, and I'm absolutely going to wear it throughout the whole video. Now, what I'm going to do today, I just thought it'd be fun. I'm going to, further honor the goddess today. We always ask the universe, for input. And I know a lot of people believe, God speaks to them, Jesus. We're going to talk to the goddess, the divine feminine. And we're going to ask the divine feminine a few questions about our current world situation. And we're going to start with, we're going to ask the goddess how we're doing right now. So we're going to start with how are we doing against the dark forces? Where do we sit in that situation? Are we winning that? Are we, according to the goddess, so the divine feminine, how are we doing? Then I'm going to move on to a few more questions, and some of them might even come out of that. Okay, but we'll end it with a message from the goddess to our viewers, just to carry on our journey. Take a little divine feminine with us. Wow, isn't that exciting? So we're coming up, we, the humans, and in particular, the viewing audience, because that's how I always, my questions are for the viewing audience. So we are doing very well indeed with a 6. We have the 6 of Wands, which is, the nickname of the 6 of Wands card is victory. So this person's doing a victory lap around, their city or town or whatever. They're doing a victory lap. And whenever you see wreaths in a tarot card, and also the number 6, you're dealing with something that's positive and moving into a more positive place, maybe from not such a good place. Because 5s are difficult, then comes the 6s where things get worked out. So we are victory right now in the fight against the dark, cult, dark, deep state. You know what I'm talking about, the powers that be that have been ruling and or oppressing humans, for a very long time. And they're coming up as the King of Swords. So that's interesting. The King of Swords. That's a detached kind of card. Isn't that interesting? Oh, I see. Okay, so it would also talk about media. So I feel like their last, so we're victory, but the front that they are still winning on and they still have somewhat to their advantage is the mainstream media. So that would make sense because that can be about media. And we have the Hanged Man in the middle. So this card is about, I think the whole situation itself, which is we feel like we're in a very difficult position. In particular, this community, watching videos like this, very difficult indeed, because we know so much, but most people, our friends and relatives, don't know what we know. And also they're not, certainly not listening. And a lot of them, well, some of them are waking up though. I've actually noticed that to be changing somewhat. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. But this card says, all our sacrifices and difficulties in these times is going to be worth it. That's why the halo. So this fellow's in actually a yoga position. If you look at, he's actually in a yoga position, and he becomes enlightened through putting himself in these various different positions. So I think it's saying right now, yes, it's difficult, but we feel a little on hold with that Hanged Man, but things will become really clear, because this card is the near future outcome, the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands is about absolute integrity. She's integral. She's almost brutally honest. So the truth will come out. She's the Wand Queen. She's very unique. So even though our world is much more unique than we thought it was, it's very different than we thought it was. Okay, so she shows all of her glory. She's also incredibly intuitive. Notice the little black cat there? So that tells you that she's very much in touch with her intuitive and intuition. She's not afraid. That's why she sits front-wise. So these drawings in this particular deck, so the Rider-Waite deck, were drawn likely would have been in the 16th or 17th century. Okay, so a long time ago. The original drawings, they were block cut prints. Okay, but they would have been drawn a long time ago, and of course they've been revised and revised, but these are very similar to the original block cuts. And they would have been done a long, long time ago, and you wouldn't have made a woman sitting front ways with her legs apart like that. And the reason they're doing that is she's saying she's not afraid of anything. She's not afraid of men. She's not afraid because she has integrity, and she's absolutely self-empowered. Okay, so so we're going to come out as humans, not afraid of the dark cult anymore, self-empowered, more in touch with our intuition, and everybody's going to know the truth, even though it's unique, and our world is much more unique. That's the sunflower there. Much more unique than we thought it was. We are actually going to come out very much in victory here on so many levels. That's beautiful. So it's taking time with that Hanged Man. The Hanged Man always takes time, but this card does promise that your wait will be worth it. It's going to be worth the wait. Okay, so here's our advice. We've got the Queen of Swords, so big, really good boundaries. So Queen of Swords has really good boundaries. Don't forget your boundaries in these times. Stay firm with your conviction. With that sword straight up and down like that, she knows what she knows. So stick to what you know. Don't let down your defenses. It's not time to let down our defenses yet. You bet it's not. Speak your truth when it feels appropriate, absolutely. Okay, and remember that your strength is your truth, and just knowing what's true and what isn't, and being absolutely true to yourself and your own intuitive knowing. Okay, so stay in that place. That's where we need to stay right now. Okay, so we're doing, the first question was, how are we doing as a humanity against this darkness that's been ruling the world, this depravity that has been ruling the world. But I'm going to say that in a past tense, because it feels like the only thing in the last hold they have is the mainstream media. And even that, I think, is starting to falter. We'll just say that. Okay, look at this card, the Tower. So this is in the past. There's been a lot of towers. So revelations, everybody in this community's gone down rabbit holes, had huge revelations. I mean, daily since this whole thing began, 3 years ago, I've had huge revelations about things are just not what I thought they were, and in every area, and then had to deal with it, sit with it, trust myself again, move forward. In my deep knowing, I always knew when I did hear, okay, something's not what we thought it was. It usually made a lot of sense anyway, right? It usually made sense. Let's ask what the goddess wants to tell us about the Alliance and the White Hats. How are they doing? Is there even an Alliance and a White Hat according to the White Hats according to the goddess? What does she want to tell us about that? Even the goddess understands that we can be temporarily at odds with the Alliance and the White Hats. That's funny. Yeah, and she can even be, it looks like, okay, because we've got the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords, that's a real feisty kind of card, okay? And they want to win. And I think maybe she's telling us they do want to win, okay? But they're up against a really, really difficult task. You bet they're up against a very difficult task. But they have had some setbacks. With that 5, there's setbacks. And there's difficulty, setbacks, and delays. Well, absolutely. There's been difficulties, setbacks, and delays. And here in the middle, we've got the Fool. So the Fool, okay, the Fool to me is trust. The Fool to me is trusting that we're gonna win this. Okay, so trust is really important going forward. Trusting that there is some kind of entity, energies in the background that have our back. Not to say we give all our power over to them, because we learned our lesson around that. No, we're not just putting down our own swords and not doing anything. That's not what it's telling us. But it does say it is important to trust that as we go forward doing our work, we have backup by the universe in the form of physically on the earth plane, the White Hats and the Alliance. So I believe she's saying, yeah, and they've been very careful. So here's the past card. We've got that Knight of Pentacles. They've been going at things carefully and slowly for a really long time. This guy's very cautious. Okay, and it has a lot to do with, I think they're handling humanity with kid gloves. And possibly that's the best way to do it. But that's definitely what they're doing. And here we've got the 8 of Cups here. So a lot of people are turning their back on the idea of the Alliance and the White Hats, but I feel like they're solidly there with us. We've got that Ace of Pentacles. One of the first things I think that'll really show us that is something to do with the financial system. So that's interesting. That's a big part of it, it looks like, is the financials. Some gift, they're giving us a gift. And one of the gifts they give is a softer landing in what could have been an absolute world-class disaster around the, petrodollar and fiat currency, literally bankrupting, crashing. And of course, it was built on a foundation of lies and deceit. So that makes sense that it wouldn't, it can't survive. Obviously, it's not surviving. And when truth, like what's happening, comes out, and then, of course, the beginning of the age of Aquarius, like nothing like that can survive something like that, right? So it crashing, though, it's going to be replaced. Absolutely. So I feel like there's a softer landing, and we can thank these guys for it. And I'm not saying we're being saved again. We have our work to do too, right? We've been talking about that. But we've got the world. So in the very big picture, because of this group, our entire world changes, okay? And with the help of all of us and that group, okay? So, wow, I love it. And we've got the King of Pentacles. She's saying that a lot of people are giving of their free time, their own personal abundance, and their own personal, it's almost like, well, that's a philanthropist card. So there's a lot of giving coming, and it's being given to humanity. I mean, they're part of it as well. So, we're all doing this together. And a lot of us are being very giving with our time, our energy, our resources, all of this to literally move our human race into a much better place going forward, just a whole different world. We're going into a different world. Let's see what kind of message we can get from the goddess. Let's see. So what I mean by that is divine feminine. So there's, I believe, a divine masculine and a divine feminine. And I think together they make up what we call the universal knowing. That's my belief, but that's just me. Wow, I shuffled these really good, and we have a lot of the same cards in different places. Actually, I think every single one of them's the same. Wow, Totally wild. Okay, so we've got the Four of Pentacles here. That's the only one I think is different. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. Careful. So both of these cards together are very careful. So there's a lot of careful energy here. And this card's about patience and perseverance to get to where we are now. I honestly think with this card in the background, it's been 20 years in the making at least, possibly more. I believe the what we call the Alliance and the White Hats have been working in the background to really unravel and undo what's been being done to us for at least 20 years. Yeah. So it could even be more. So this card's saying it's been a long time in the making to get us to exactly where we are. And there's been a lot of careful preparation to get us to exactly where we are. Okay, this is not the time to walk away. This is not the time to leave the project. Okay, you got to stay. Digital soldiers, you know, people with intention and rising vibration, we have to stay the course. This is absolutely, we are so close to birthing a whole new world here. Right, with aces and the world card with those major arcanas across the bottom and an ace, I'd say by this time next year, the world looks completely different. We're not even in the same world here. Right, that's brilliant. And we've got the Fool. So one of the biggest lessons we're learning is to trust in ourselves, in our own intuitive knowing. Because a lot of us came to the knowing that we have now, it came to us. We were already seeing something was wrong with most systems when we were little children even, right? If I look back, I didn't really trust the government. I definitely didn't trust the medical system. I didn't trust a lot of systems. And I never worked within the system for that reason. And a lot of people in this community are in that same kind of shape. People in the background, truthers out there, we have a similar story where we didn't always fit in school. We didn't always just buy it. I just knew something was okay. They're teaching us things that never will I need to know. Right? What a waste of time that was. Okay. It was a great social experience. You know what I mean? Some people had a really difficult social experience in their schooling. I made it a positive thing, but I'm like that. So thank you to the Divine Feminine for that beautiful message. And thank